Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. My GF and brother, Deceit. Advice. Hey, waving hand. I am male and 30 years old, so is my GF. My brother is 32. TLDR, I think my brother and GF have been deceitful, no proof but lots of coincidences. Should I leave or stay? Am I a Fisco or not? Upside down face. She swears on our son's life nothing has happened. I don't have any friends to talk to that I can trust. I am not looking for sympathy, just an honest opinion from people, unbiased. I know I'm a retard for putting up with this. I feel like a mug. I honestly stayed for my son. I had a very traumatic childhood and I refuse to allow my son to inherit that, and I certainly stick around to make sure he doesn't. I am financially there for her, and my son. There was a period of a few months where I was financially struggling when Corona happened, and that is when most of this behavior was happening. So I don't know where to start, but this is eating me up to the point it's making me ill and I am questioning my own sense of reality. I have been talking to a counselor and currently waiting to see a psychiatrist. My son's mother and I were split up and were living separately. Corona happened and she asked me to move back in with her, otherwise I'd not get to see my son. I did not want to move back in, however my son is my life and my whole life revolves around him. I would make that sacrifice to move in with her and eventually agree to try and make things work. I didn't use social media at all at this point, however I started to develop suspicious behavior when I saw somebody message her on WhatsApp, saying they miss her, to which she replied I know. I obviously questioned her about that and she claimed it was a security guard from work who pressured her for her number, while we wasn't together. That's fair enough, right? We wasn't together, long as it didn't continue while we were. Nothing to worry about, right? Then I receive a text which clearly wasn't meant for me while she was at work, which said I can't wait to sit on your face. We'd just had an argument the night before about her going out during Corona, but tells me I need to move in or can't see my son, and she would never text me like this, way out of the normal. I questioned her about that and her defense was she was feeling naughty at work, playful face. At this point I got social media apps back such as Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, which she uses all the time. I did this admittedly out of paranoia because my whole body is telling me something is off, or at least I think it is. Lockdown was happening and she would be going down to her mother's often with our son, breaking her own rule and the government's of wanting us all to stay in to avoid Corona. My brother was staying at her mother's house during all of the lockdown and some months before it. We've known her and my GF since we were kids. My brother is best friends with her brother. She, my GF, had a history with my brother when she was 18 and him 20. I did not know this until after I got with her, so I just brushed it aside. Without being big-headed, I don't feel I have anything to be jealous of about my brother. However, I do feel like he is secretly competitive against me, as he doesn't like when life is good for me and I only wish him well in life. I feel I have sacrificed a lot for him. My brother was ringing me before I moved back in with my ex, asking me if I was staying there or not. He'd called and asked this a few times after having a normal conversation. I didn't think anything of it at the time, however looking backwards it was very strange for my own brother to ask that. Upside down face. She hates staying at her dad's and yet decided she wanted to stay there for a whole weekend while her mother, the clever one, was away. One night on her own, the next with our son. Her father cannot even move up from the sofa without help. He is overweight and has gout and suffers a lot. I feel for him. So at this point it's my GF, my brother and her father. She claimed she spent the whole weekend watching a series with her father while downstairs on the sofa, and our son was asleep upstairs the one night he stayed. I can believe she watched the series with her father, of course. He loves his TV and spends most of his time watching it. The first night she stayed was without our son. I didn't bother her or call her. She would message me on Facebook with a picture of her sitting down with her dad with a cup of tea and cake. First night over and done with. She comes back in the afternoon the next day and she says she will have our son overnight there tonight so I can have a little break. Tonight I phoned her, and messaged her, to ask how our son was. Naturally I'd expect a response, especially when it was only early evening still. I then tried to call my brother. I knew he was staying there, so I went to call him and ask if my son is okay, etc. As I couldn't get through to my GF, she is mostly always on her phone. However, his phone only rang once and then hung up instantly. I thought nothing of it. Could have been his phone was off or something, right? I did this a few times and it kept doing it. To which I'd found out months later, that it was because he has blocked my number. Can't get in touch with either my brother, or GF at this point. Finally I receive a message response at 2 AM saying sorry she had fell asleep with our son and had left her phone downstairs, playful face. Wow, so at this point it's a mental roller coaster for me as my whole entire body is shaking like something is really off here. So I asked her if my brother was there the first night, to which she responded he wasn't there the first night, yet I'd found out from her dad they all stayed in and had Chinese. I also noticed she had took a red pair of bra and pants the second night and they didn't return with her the next day. Grimacing face. I questioned her about this and they must have fell out the bag was her response. Upside down face. At this point I feel like a right ducking mug because I am getting no clear answers, yet such dodgy shit is happening. She reassures me nothing happened and nothing is going on. Some weeks have passed and I am thinking about this a lot. I am waking up to my GF on the phone to my brother and I'd hear her say he's awake, yet as soon as she knew I was awake the call would end between them. I'd ask why is he calling her, she would just say he wanted to talk to me because he can't get in touch with me. Upside down face. He has my number blocked, which is no accident surely, and he knows it. Upside down face. I asked him about having my number blocked finally and he responded it was just an accident and never knew he did it. So anyway, he would come up to see my son, his nephew, at very strange times. 8 PM. 8 PM is our son's bedtime, so if you're coming up to see your nephew, why leave it so late if you've had all day? This is where it gets really mind-ducking for me. My brother came round again at around 7 PM and my GF was on her way back with our son as she was out at the time. She had tried to call me but my phone was in the kitchen, so she called my brother as I told her he was on his way up to see us. However, my brother was already with me before she got home, and when she rang, he said he was with me and passed me his phone as she'd asked to talk with me. He passed me his phone and a sudden anxiety just creeped all over me. I saw that he has my GFS number saved as his ex-girlfriend's name. Why has my brother got my girlfriend's phone number saved under his ex-GFS name? I questioned him about it on the spot and he couldn't even look at me. He then said it was a joke and kept trying to change the conversation. My GF has just walked in at this point with our son, totally unaware that my brother had just been found to have her number saved under his ex-GFS name. I asked her calmly to come into our room and speak to me a second so I could ask her if she knew why my brother would have her number saved under a different name. She couldn't keep a straight face and acted surprised. I then said okay, go and ask him why he would have your number saved under another name. However, she went into the kitchen, totally speechless, and took 10 minutes to put 1 minute of shopping away. I kept looking at her as if to say, why have you not even asked him yet? He's making you look extremely guilty here and yet you're doing nothing. She eventually asked him after prompting her for 20 minutes to do so, and when she did, he stormed off angrily and slammed the door, to then which she started arguing and making me feel bad for questioning what just happened. At this point, if something was / had happened, they would know I am onto them and would minimize taking any more risks at this point. I would honestly like a genuine response / opinion from somebody who may have been in a similar situation to tell me if I am being absolutely insane or just acting like any other normal person would if such coincidences present themselves. If anyone were to think, why have I not just left her yet if I don't trust her? Because I don't want to leave my son on his own with her, as I genuinely do fear he doesn't get enough attention when I'm not around. She's always on her phone, and I feel she is a mother because she has to be and not because she wants to be. As much as I want to leave her and just focus on me and my son, regardless if something happened or not, I couldn't do it without justification, so I've come here to get some opinion on if I am a paranoid freak or just being genuine. There are honestly so many more red flags to add to this, but it's honestly just embarrassing. Flushed face, I am being looked at for bipolar and I am uncomfortable with admitting or accepting that. Whenever I confronted my GF or my brother about anything weird, I am made to feel weird, my meds are ducking me up, etc. I honestly feel I am just questioning what really isn't normal behavior. I forgot to add that they were apparently top and tail in a bed, on a night out with her friend. She ended up at her place and in her bed with my brother. I did a question about this and my brother said if he didn't get in the bed with her, somebody else would have. Flushed face. I also questioned her and her response was she went to bed alone that night and that's how it should have stayed. She is adamant she woke up to him top and tail. If I have broken any rules here on Reddit with this thread, it is unknowingly. If this thread is in the wrong section, please don't delete it and move it to the correct one. She is for the streets, bud, and your brother needs to be tuned up. There is definitely something going on. Cut them both off after seeing a lawyer about custody. Edit, tell her to come clean or you are dumping her. No need to provide justification. If she gaslights, walk out. She is facing no consequences now. Good advice. She wants you for financial support and taking care of the child, and that is all. This. Agreed 100%. I don't know if going for the money shot is the best option or, like you said, confront her to come clean and dump her. I guess I am holding on because I want proof, which is not going to be easy now. Why do I want proof? I want everybody to know what they've done. Our circle is a circle we all interact with. Maybe I'm wrong for that, tell me if I am. I don't know, as I overthink everything. More red flags here than a Chinese military parade. She's cheating with your brother. Your comment that you don't feel the need to compete with your brother but he's competitive with you is telling. You don't realize how he really views you. They aren't even making excuses and nothing is plausible. Did you confront her on why she said he wasn't at her father's house when you know he was? I don't know what it will take for you to just trust your gut, but all the anxiety and doubt you're feeling is your subconscious sounding the alarm. Talk to a lawyer so she can't keep your kid from you and block both your brother and GF out of your life. I did confront her, but her response was a change of story and that he went out for a drink that night with his mate and came back. Why did you let it go? You're both 30, not 13. Both of their answers are clearly nonsense, but they don't have to come up with anything since you believe everything. The amount of evidence that you're just dismissing as coincidence is kind of ridiculous. If you need to actually witness them, then just give it time. You've shown nothing to make them think you know they're lying, so they'll just keep making excuses that show you they think you're gullible. If your brother would betray you like this, I bet he's got pics and videos. BTW, the excuse of staying for your son is noble but naive. Clearly you came from a broken home, since your brother would stab you in the back like that. Staying with her despite her blatant betrayal will show your son that being cheated on in a relationship is okay. He has been with them while they were together, so despite his age he's going to see how his uncle and his mother interact with each other. 2 happy homes are better than 1 unhappy/broken one. I want to gather as much evidence as possible. She will use my son against me in every way possible, especially if I just walked. If I have good reason to walk, I can go for custody of my son. Yeah, but you're not doing anything. Hire a buy. Next time they're both in front of you, tell him to show you his phone. If he's got nothing to hide, then great, but we both know that he'll just say it's none of your business and she'll say you're crazy, but I do believe there's evidence of him and your wife in his phone for sure. He kept trophies. Get some cameras for your house. Since they didn't tell you about their prior history, this has likely been going on the whole time. You should have stayed split up. She only moved back in with you out of necessity. Are you sure your son is yours and not his? He looks a lot like I did when I was a baby, literally twin-like. My mother agrees and pointed it out, the resemblance to me. I feel awful for even contemplating that thought that my son isn't mine. Confused face, sleepy face. Even now I am having doubts since you mentioned it, yet he is my boy man, my day one. I watched him being born. Would it really be necessary to pursue a DNA test? Ask for a polygraph test, maybe she will accept her affair then. That is not proof of anything though, is it? People can lie through them. Not as easy as it is to lie through the polygraph test. She might spill it out even before the actual test. Feel like that would just turn out to be real life Jeremy Kyle show, not like it isn't one already. I would prefer conclusive proof. Even walking in on them shagging would suffice. However, I'd obviously be having my son when she goes out, so it's hard to catch them in a moment. That's a form of gaslighting. She's being deliberately deceptive about her reasons for being in contact with your brother. Honestly, there's nothing worth saving here. You're already preparing for the custody fight, so you should just do what's logical. Tell her she isn't welcome in your home anymore and that she should go live with your brother. He can take care of her from now on, as she is not your problem anymore. You're not married, so no alimony. She might try to sue for child support, but that is all part of the custody process. Hopefully you aren't financially entangled. If you are, you need to take care of that now. Close out any joint accounts, credit cards, etc. You should not be supporting her financially in any way. She's an adult and should be able to support herself. No more free rides. You're right, I do need to take that leap. No more free rides. Provide for myself and my son. I am doing my best to save up and move out at the moment. I have a PIP car, however I don't have a license. She is the named driver on the car and I feel trapped in that sense, as I need the car to get me around. I suffer from social anxiety and fibromyalgia. She uses it to pick our son up from nursery and says it benefits us all. I feel if I took the car away, which I can by paying $250 to return it, she would spite me in ways my heart probably couldn't take much more of and use the excuse of necessity of needing it for our son's benefit. However, I feel she is the one benefiting from it. No tax, no insurance to pay, and gives me $70 each month towards it. I pay $256. She now has a new routine of swimming most days and feels like I have to revolve around her time schedule, even though she does not even work now. She is going through work assessment DWP and on sick from work and lending money not only from me but her friends too, all the time. First step, get to a lawyer and get a custody agreement in play. She can't withhold your child from you legally. If you have text messages of her telling you to let her live with you or you won't see your kid, show them to the lawyer. That kind of blackmail is looked down upon by judges. Also record every event, like when she leaves the kid to run off for the weekend. Let her do what she wants, without argument or comment. Give her all the rope she needs to hang herself. Step 1A, do not support her with any money or resources. No money for gas, no paying for her phone, no nothing. If she's on your phone plan, get your phone records, and then cut off that line. Second step, Grey Rock /180 harass, and your brother as well. Cut him out of your life, and cut her out to the point where co-parenting is your only interaction. Third step, DNA test for the kid. Yes, they have something going on. No, you aren't crazy, you're being gaslit and manipulated. It's a cheater's favorite pastime. Rid yourself of these creatures as fast as possible, for your own good, and the good of your child. I know my son is mine, the resemblance is twin-like. My brother came from another father, the same mother whom we were raised with. Both our dads left early, mine being in prison most of his life. I don't want to go as far as questioning that, because if I found out he wasn't mine I'd probably kill myself. You get gaslighted and tortured, so why don't you leave? Your girlfriend is using your son to shackle you and you let her control you. Free yourself. Your son is not benefiting seeing his dad and role model getting degraded and abused. Thanks for the advice. It does hurt me even more knowing your comments are true. My son is not benefiting watching his father degrade and succumb to this. You are torturing yourself when you already know the truth. She is trash but your brother is simply evil. I'm sorry you are going through this but trust your gut. It won't lie to you when your heart goes out of its way to ignore what you already know. A loyal wife can become a cheater, but a cheater can never become a loyal wife. Never catch yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. I am torturing myself, I know it. It's hard because I want my son around me as much as possible, however it's the mother nowadays which is usually favored. I don't want to leave him and only be able to see him once or twice a week. I don't want that to happen. I know it will probably come to that and I'm in denial. If I just had the justified reason to leave and then expose her, I would be in favor and have no liability on my head regarding my custody for my son. Maybe I'm wrong for thinking that way, let me know. I'm sorry to say, I'm sure they're doing the dirt behind your back. Is there any chance you could go for custody of your boy? I've been through the same with the cheating and being made to feel you're the one going mad. So if you need to talk, I'm here. Don't be sorry, I appreciate the honest thoughts. If I had evidence of them cheating and treating me like this, allowing and abusing my mental health and well-being, I think I could and would go for full custody. I don't know if I would stand a chance. I need to look more into these things for sure. My mind isn't right at the moment and a lot of brain fog, lack of motivation. Why stay with a loser? I have a son, my father walked on me. I'd never walk on him. From a moral point maybe you could understand. They are gaslighting you and using your mental state as a leverage over you. That is what makes this story even more horrible, aside from the cheating. Trust your gut, trust the signs. Get out now and put them both in the rear view. I'm very sorry you're experiencing this. Don't be sorry, I appreciate your thoughts. I do agree they are using my mental state to an advantage. I want to put them in the rear view like you say. I want to expose, especially to our circle of people we know, as we all know each other, legally speaking, any ideas. It would be hard for me to catch them in the act without being deceitful myself, planting cameras etc. I don't want to snoop this low and need to do it legally, for my son's sake. Are you the breadwinner? Your wife doesn't go to work? Your brother doesn't work either? Then definitely your wife needs someone to fulfill the father and money role for her and her son. Better take care of your son, not her. She can do it by herself. Or ask your brother to do that for her. As her name was there on his phone. Why did you split in the first place? Due to her affair? Or some other reason? I think you better be single than with her, as she's just manipulating you. When you asked them a simple question they weren't able to answer that, which is obvious that they were doing stuff behind your back. Just collect enough evidence and split. For your son's sake, she never gonna take good care of him, I think so. I am financially there, have been all the time. I am trying to collect as much evidence as possible. I feel like I blew chances by letting them both know I'm aware of the dodgy shit going on. We split in the first place because I wasn't happy and she wasn't happy. However, she was pregnant, so I stayed with her. Get her iCloud password and use Doctor Phone to look at all her deleted texts and stuff. Or keylogger and be done with it. Can you recover deleted texts from a phone which has been factory reset once or twice? I have an old phone she used around this time which she does not use anymore, however it's half broken screen and like I said it was formatted a few times. Worth pursuing this. It's my property, so it's legally okay for me to do. You're using the phone backup. For instance, if the phone is backed up to iCloud and you have or can get the iCloud password, you don't even need to touch the phone. Doctor Phone will download the backup and can extract deleted texts and all kinds of stuff from the backup. Doesn't matter what has been done to the phone. This can also be done from local backups as well. Not just cloud backups of. In the future, always keep backups of the phone at various times. once a month. Locally, as long as you know the passcode. I am sure there is a way, as the information remains unless it was overwritten. I have recovered a lot of information from formatted drives. This is a question for technical iPhone forums. I use Android, so no help there. Here's where you lost me. You were split up and living separately. She asks you to move in so you can see your son. At no point did you say you got back together and recommitted. If that's true, what she and your brother do is none of your business, and for that fact alone, it's not cheating. Figure out what you want and grow up. I stated that we agreed to make things work when I moved back in, if you read it. Not sure if make it work was or is a joint commitment to the relationship. Why'd you two separate in the first place? What's the backstory? Seems like she has feelings for your brother, and did in the past. Probably still in a relationship, and you need to make peace with it or move on. Since you've offered no backstory, was she with him while you were split? Was she really having you move in for your son's sake, and you pushed trying again? Was trying again dating and seeing where it goes, or is it exclusive? You can't make someone love you. Does your brother give her something you don't? My brother was not with her in terms of a relationship, ever. Not that anybody is aware of. It would shock the entire circle that we all know. We both discussed making it work, even as far as to go see a counselor together. This didn't come to fruition. I felt trapped once I moved in. We fell out before because we both weren't in love, but she was pregnant and I couldn't leave her, so I stood by her. I wouldn't force or want anybody to love me that didn't want to. I just don't want to waste my time with somebody who is capable of being deceitful and lying to my face. I feel she had me move in for her own sake rather than my son. It benefits her more me being here with her. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.